I didn't catch.
Why don't you even show up?
I would honestly.
Are you kidding me? Well, yeah, you're gonna talk about it.
don't actually say fucking shit about this, okay? Don't say a fucking thing about this. Welcome back, everybody. We are the Alter Ego Brothers. I'm Nick. That's Andy. And today we're talking about the death of Robin Hood. But before we do that, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. We really appreciate it, and so does YouTube. But without further ado, let's talk about the movie. I gave Death of Robin Hood a 5 out of 10. I thought that for a brutal and quick beginning, it slows to a snail's pace and just becomes a very explanation-heavy movie that would be better off as a play.
I personally would have rated it higher, but critically, I landed at a 6 out of 10. I thought this was a cool new perception on the story that we're all familiar with without it actually taken away from the traditional storyline that we're all familiar with too.
All right, so take those scores together and that gives us a 6.5 out of 10. Right next to Toy Story 5. We just flip-flopped.
Yeah, we did.
There. That's interesting. I kind of want to get into the story a little bit. That's where I have a bunch of my gripes for this. Not necessarily what they were trying to do, but how they did it, I think, was probably the most boring way that they could have told this movie possible. Again, it starts off, it's very brutal. It's very real in its showing of violence and the cycle of violence, but that's really only 20 minutes into the movie. It was so brutal, in fact, that like 6 or 7 people got up and left my theater because they didn't want to stomach this. They were just like, oh, nope, this is not for me. And they left. And I was like, oh, wow. If we've already got people leaving, then man, the rest of this is going to be crazy. And it was, if a whole lot of nothing happens. He farms a bit and kills a couple rabbits. He rows a boat and then he dies. And for as dark and as pessimistic as the whole story was, I was waiting for that human nature bit to come back in and like poke its head through. But no, it was almost a fairy tale-esque ending for Robin Hood and the story that they were telling. And it just didn't do it for me. I thought everything that they showed in this movie, Logan did a lot better, and Hugh Jackman stars in that one. And it kind of shocks me that he didn't read this script and go like, oh, I already did that in another movie called Logan, and it was really, really good. Everybody loved it. And he's just trying to do the same thing again. It was not for me.
So I enjoyed the story because I like long-winded explanation type storylines. I'd rather hear dialogue than see action. The only real gripes I had were just more minor. I thought, I'll go over them very quickly. In the beginning, I thought the lady that you see in the very beginning, she looked like she's somebody from 2026. The other part too is I thought they were a little bit too sciencey for the time. They say it's in the 1200s. Oh yeah. But they're making statements like we need to care about animal population control. They're using the term atom, like the molecule, like an atom. And I was like, you guys don't know what that is at all. You don't even know what bacteria is.
It's like 1224 or something like that. That's the year.
and I'm not totally confident that, spoilers, nicking a vein is gonna lead to just bleeding out and dying just from one. I don't know, possibly, like, but I need to see, like, she needed to make a bigger cut on this particular one to really showcase that I thought they should have done that differently. That was my only, like, small gripes. Apart from that, I actually thought that this movie had really good tension, and I thought that tension started from the first time you see the trailer. Because when I think of Robin Hood, I think of the cartoon, the Disney cartoon. I think of Kevin Costner. I think of like the traditional Robin Hood that we're used to seeing. But then you're portrayed this like dark version of Robin Hood. And it's called The Death of Robin Hood. And it makes you go like, what the heck's going on? Like, what kind of story are we telling here? I wasn't really sure. And I went into the movie not really sure what to expect either. And I just felt like, man, am I an outcast? Because I don't know if, like, does everyone else know what we're expecting here? I don't think that's the case. Hey, don't even.
Sorry, your re-explanation of the movies is putting me to sleep, bro. Man, it's very long-winded.
I'm not even explaining the story yet. I'm just explaining that the tension started from the trailer.
Yet. Sorry.
I'm long-winded. But my point is, it's Hugh Jackman doing this. So you think like, okay, well, he's read the script. There's something about the script that like intrigued him to actually do this film. So what is it? So I'm thinking there has to be some sort of payoff in the end. And I liked the payoff at the end. And that payoff is you had this tension of like, what story are we telling? Like, because you're told Robin Hood is this kind of murderer killing just people like haphazardly out in the mountains and whatnot. And there's the legend of Robin Hood. And he's this dark, evil character like nobody likes. He's an outlaw in this country. And then at the end, they flip that switch on you and it goes back to that traditional storyline where he mentions that like the people I killed were bad people and I took their money. And it's like, it tied it to the end and it made him go off.
But he was lying.
How do you know he's lying? What do you mean he's lying?
Because he was talking. He was lying. He was telling the kid that they were bad because she was nervous that her dad was doing bad things. Her dad, Little John. So he lied to her and perpetuated the story. He tells everybody, every adult that asks him about this, he's like, "That's not the truth. That's not actually what happened. I'm actually kind of a dick. All right. I'm actually a whole asshole." And then at the end, the little girl is asking him, like, "Who's my dad? Why did you call him Little John?" and all this stuff. And so he perpetuates the fairy tale that he himself dislikes in order to spare her feelings.
That's even cooler. Okay. I like that even more because then that's the myth that goes behind Robin Hood and that's the story that we are told today. I like that even more.
But then he tells her to never talk about it.
Well, yeah, you're gonna talk about it.
don't actually say fucking shit about this, okay? Don't say a fucking thing about this.
Maybe I should have gone a 7 out of 10. So in my theater, nobody left. It was a real pickle party. I will admit that, though. I don't think there was a single woman in that theater. I like a story that builds tension through dialogue. So I liked the movie.
What is the tension between what and what is what I'm
They don't know who he is and they're taking care of him. And you're wondering like...
They didn't give a shit. You're wondering
yourself who he is.
They didn't give a fuck.
Like I said, the tension started back in the trailer when you're like, what is this? What is this kind of version of Robin Hood? It worked for me. I was their target audience, I suppose. I would have rated it higher personally, but critically it ended as a 6 out of 10.
One of the things that I had a problem with was the relationship between Robin and the lady taking care of him.
The nurse, yeah.
Because we get this relationship. She runs everything on this island. And he's like, "Hey, I know how to hunt and trap." She's like, "Good, you can trap, but you can't hunt yet." He's like, "I can hunt." He's like, "No, you can't. You're fucking hurt. Your ribs are broke. All this shit. You can't do anything. You're good for nothing, Robin. You can't do anything." And it's okay. He goes to try and draw his bow. He can't do it. He's like, "Okay, I am kind of useless, whatever." And then out of nowhere, she like goes back to this weird witchy cave and starts masturbating out of nowhere. Completely unnecessary. Completely unnecessary. There's no romantic tension between them at all. And like Robin just creeps behind her and watches her for a little while. And then fucks off. And I was like, why did we need to see this? What's going on? This came out of nowhere. And their whole dynamic, we hear from a third party, like her relationship to Robin Hood and how, Robin killed her beloved and you should never tell her your name because I'm dying and I said you shouldn't do that. And it turns into this whole "don't call me Piggy" moment. And so what does he do? He immediately goes out and he's like, "Hey, I'm Robin Hood." And she's like, "You killed my beloved." There was no reason for any of that to happen. He just kind of felt like doing it because he was wanting to die the entire movie.
Yeah.
Glad you agree that there was no reason for it.
So, I mean, like, to what you're having to say, I didn't give story full points. I thought they could have told the story better, but I like the idea of it still. So, I'm with you on some of those points there, too. I thought cinematography did a really good job. I thought there were even, like, particular scenes, too, where words weren't even spoken, but it almost told a full story within the scene without a single word. So I really thought cinematography did a really fantastic job.
Okay. I didn't catch.
Why don't you even show up?
I would honestly.
Are you kidding me? When they're eating the soup,
I didn't catch any of that.
Or when that first guy died and they zoomed in and like, get out of here. You caught the weird parts, but you didn't catch the most beautiful parts of this movie. Whatever.
I guess that was the soup part was just a slow push in to them trying to get her to eat soup and all that stuff. And I think they cut it.
It was actually
when it finally got instrument. Okay, sorry.
Pay attention to that.
The camera went a direction. I noticed that, but
it did.
It didn't
just
do anything.
Finish the review.
Didn't do anything for me.
I thought you were actually gonna like this one more than you did. So I was actually.
I thought so too.
By this.
But as always, don't just take our word for it. Let's see what the internet has to say. So looking at the audience scores, it looks like audiences gave this a 6 out of 10, and critics aren't too far behind with a 6.5 out of 10. So we're in the ballpark. We're like right on the money for this one.
I definitely am, yeah.
Yep. Let's try this one and just see how it goes. All right, Death of Robin Hood. Here's the title. Walked out. Boring. It requires subtitles.
I figured.
This is from our good pal Gen X Jeff.
Why does he lead off every single one of his reviews with that? And you instantly know who it is.
Bro hasn't seen a full movie in years. Okay? In years. Gen X checking in, walked out at the hour mark. A24 must be out of their minds releasing this without subtitles. Early reviews that promised non-stop gore and action in the first half were lies. Only about 15 minutes total action, if that. Heavily letterboxed widescreen for the first 40 minutes, then 4/5? Why? This is a complete failure. Waste of time. You have been warned.
Yeah, I don't know where he got his ratios from when you only saw the first hour, and I'm assuming that includes previews, traditionally.
I don't know, but he's getting into some technical shit here, bro.
You only see action for about 15 minutes, and I would say that the trailer does allude you to think that there's going to be a lot more action to this film.
Yeah.
So I don't disagree with him.
Well, I think the beginning of the movie alludes to that as well too.
Yeah, so I don't disagree with Gen X Jeff in this one. I think his numbers are weird though.
But the 4/5? Why, man?
I don't know what he's
saying. He didn't even
answer
that.
I don't know what.
Didn't even answer that.
White letterbox me. I don't know what he's talking about.
White letterbox and then 4/5, bro. You're supposed to be the cinematography guy. He's speaking your language, and you can't even answer a simple question like 4/5. Why? So with that, I think we'll just wrap it up with this chud here and say that thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing. I really appreciate that. And remember, we're just two regular dudes
doing regular reviews.
Chud. Just classic chud behavior.